Congratulations, welcome to the course. This is a mini course which is only probably 5 particular stages, and what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you some techniques and some tools that you can use in your business to start finding new customers. I think it's going to go a little bit further than that for you. I really do hope you're going to get something out of this, because what I really would like you to do is to start heading towards the mastermind course where we do go deep. But what are we going to learn out of this course? We're going to have 5 stages. We're going to have clarity. We're going to find out exactly where we're heading, the most important tool of all probably. We're then going to have, what are our superpowers? What are our core competencies? This is important to put the right people in front of you, people that want your superpower. So that is what we're going to find in that particular lesson. We're going to find out what drives you. That is a very, very deep subject and a really interesting tool. We're going to teach you how to negotiate. How do you get the most out of people? And finally, we're then going to go into the sales process, which is a website or a funnel. Very interesting. So let's start off with the clarity tool. What is the most important thing we're trying to do here? First of all, I'm going to show you a form here. It's a free download. There's free downloads with every part of the course. So go through the stages in the course, one item at a time. So clarity. First of all, we're going to try and find out where we are now. Now, this is human nature. Human nature teaches us where we want to go, but sometimes the mind itself will start to prevent you getting where it is you want to go. So let's take the form first of all, and what I want you to do is I want you to write down in all complete honesty and truth where you are at the moment. What you think about the exact situation that you are in. What are the pain points? Because what we're going to do, we're going to learn from truth and honesty. That is a very powerful human nature. So to write all those particular items down, we're trying to find out relationships, business, everything in your life as to where you are exactly at the moment. What we're going to find from this course is that the pain, the honesty, pain causes movement or makes us move. Mistakes are what we learn from. So find out exactly where you are at the moment. We all live in a very, very busy life, a massive dust storm. Now what I want you to do is I want you to lift yourself out of that dust storm, and I want you to move yourself forward 1 year. So I want you to write down in the next section, where is it you want to be? What is a perfect scenario from now, 1 year from now? What has changed in your business? What has changed for the better? What has changed in your relationships? What has changed in your life that you are 100% happy about? So then when we've got this situation, we've got a ship now. We've got where we are and we've got where we're going. This is the perfect direction that I'm trying to make you imagine where it is you're actually heading. So you're heading in exactly the right direction. Now, in terms of where you're going, most people will actually write down, if I actually ask that particular question, they're more likely to answer with, I don't want to do this. I definitely don't want to go there. This is definitely not what I want to achieve. I certainly don't want that in my life. Now, that is where the mistake happens. That is human nature. This is your mind beginning to take control of you and point out danger positions as to protect yourself. So we need to concentrate the mind on exactly where we are going in terms of what we want. Now let me give you a story. Now let me give you an example. Now first of all, imagine you're looking to photograph the most amazing sunset and you're heading east. Well, you're heading completely in the wrong direction. The sun sets in the west. You're heading the wrong way. So if you have a fuzzy target, it's in the mist. You can't hit that target. So do you see the directions that I'm trying to steer you in? Now, one last story in this particular subject before we move on actually comes from a holiday that I went on last year to Borneo. Beautiful, beautiful jungle position, nature reserve and all the rest of it. So this one particular excursion we were going to see this amazing waterfall. It had rained for 2 or 3 days before this particular trip out. So we are heading towards this waterfall. We go through the clearing, we come down to where the river is, and the river was thrashing through like massive rapids. There were a bunch of school children all putting their life jackets on and ready to get in a raft. Now the guide was there and our little group was just saying, you know, we can't believe these children were going to go on this raft. The guide came over to us and he told me a very interesting story. He said when he was a young guide, what he used to do with the children is that he used to get them on the raft and he'd be on the back steering away saying, watch out for the tree, watch out for the raft, watch out for the big stones. And the children would more often than not have accidents. So the way that he actually changed that is he actually turned to the children and he said, this is the finger of energy. This is the finger of positivity. So I'm going to point you in the right direction. And this is where I'm going to tell you to focus. And I want you to paddle like crazy. Just go forward, go in that direction. So the moral of the story is the direction that we are heading in is where we're going to get. We're not even going to think about the trees. We're not going to think about the rocks. We're not going to think about the rapids. We are just going to laser focus ourselves on where it is we're going to be in a year's time. So the next part of this journey, we're going to actually fill in the next box as to why we want to get there and then how we're going to get there. Hi, so here we go. So the next part of the form is we're actually going to start looking at why. Why do we want to get where we want to go? It's already so powerful, this whole decision as to analysing ourselves with all of our honesty. You're already 90% ahead now of the majority of entrepreneurs. You are now clearly asking yourself, using your emotional ties as to where you are and where you are heading. You have now got 100% focus on heading towards exactly what it is you want, not what it is you don't want. Concentrate on that finger of energy, focusing straight ahead of where we want to be. This is actually part of what this whole course is, and you're already starting to achieve this because you've actually taken action. You've actually downloaded this course. You want to be heading somewhere, and these lessons are just going to give you the tools and the techniques of how to do that. So the next part of this is why. Emotionally, again, apply the emotions to fill the form in. Use the honesty of why do you want these things? We're going to go into this further along in the course because we're going to go 7 ways deep. And what that will mean is you will just say why. You probably won't know the answer to that 100% until you've done the course and you've gone further into the next syllable, which is the drive as to why you're achieving these things, and it will make you understand the real reason. And what I need you to do is to start by writing that down. And then you'll break that down even further. So what do I mean? If you say why and you say I want more money, I want a better relationship, I want to be healthier, whatever it is you want, I want more customers. So we would then break that down to say, really, why do we want more customers? Well, we want more customers because it's going to bring me more business. But why do you want more business? So why is going to be honestly trying to think deep within yourself again as to the real reasons. If you are heading your ship in that direction, when you get there a year from now and it's your perfect environment, as to why you wanted that, why you wanted to get into that position. So you write that down first of all. And then the next step of this is then how. How are we going to get what we want. So this again is where the honesty starts playing its own field again, because how we're going to do it is you're literally going to then start to write down your action statements. You're going to say, how am I going to get more customers? Well, I'm going to get more customers because I'm going to learn how to do more on Instagram. I'm going to learn how to use sales funnels. I'm going to learn. Do you see what I mean? So how is writing down the bullet points of what the next stages are in your journey from A to B, the perfect position that you want to be in, that journey, that year of how I've sent you into that position. You're going to have the hows. You're going to have the action steps that you will now take to get to that direction. In your life, if it's a relationship, as opposed to just a financial gain, all of these things play in. It's not just about finance, it's not just about customers, but that's what we're focusing on this particular course here. So that's a powerful thing. You've gone a long way. We've already set the ship up. We're going to go through the rest of the course now, and we're going to take these 4 positions where you're going, when you're going to get there, why you want it, and how you're going to get it is really what this whole course is about. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let's move on to the next module.